Hi guys, welcome to Interior Insights. I'm Jane and we are in the Black Forest, a southwest part of Germany. And this is just a really incredible and unique area where a lot of people come to visit. Today we're going to look at a 38 square meter luxury apartment right at the Schluchsee in the Black Forest. Come inside. There's one really big surprise in this apartment, so stick to the video until I tell you about it. And as always, if you like the video, please make sure to subscribe to support the channel. So here we are. This is a really stylish, elegant and neutral, nuanced apartment. And we can see that they really took like the history of this place and used all of the raw and rough materials that you can find here and created an elevated, luxurious design. The building has been built in 2023, so everything really is as good as new. Schwarzwald, as the Germans call it, is a really incredible area. It's high up in the mountains and you just have a lot of rivers and beautiful lakes. This area is really known also for the Grimm brothers fairy tales. If you look at the color palette of this place, we can see a lot of really neutral colors, but a lot of real and raw materials, such as the earthy brown of the oak wood or of spruce wood that we can find here, or just really dark and muted black stone or really dark metal accents. And I feel like this just creates a very luxurious and sophisticated design that really speaks to the history of our surroundings of the Black Forest. And I think one of the reasons why this place seems so mysterious is because you have a lot of high, really dark black pine trees growing here throughout the year. So even in the winter, you just have this like dark, bushy forest. As we come in through the door, we have one room, and inside this room we have a lot of different functions. So over here we have the master bedroom. And you can see that even though the bed was kind of tucked into a corner, you still don't lose any of like the grand gesture or exposure of this bed because you still have space from both sides. We have these beautiful big slabs of wood that are just massive as bedside tables, and you have this just really simple and elegant solution. The bedside lamps are mounted to the wall, and you even have ambient indirect lighting behind them to create yet again another layer of luxury. What really like frames this bedroom and this part of the room as a bedroom is the fact that we have this just beautiful, really thick old oak wood that was also sourced locally from this area as a backsplash of the bed, and that just creates this elevated, luxurious feeling. And you can just see like the raw patina of the wood, and it feels really warm, and it creates just this warm and holistic atmosphere. Over here, opposite of the bed, we have the kitchen, and the kitchen is again marked in this room with a completely different color. So if you have these like one space solutions that have multiple functions, it's always really important to visually separate the spaces from each other. And you can do this by using big carpets, but you can also do this with inbuilt situations and with different materials. So here we can see the entire kitchen is black and it kind of fades into the background and it feels properly built. And because this is the only area in the apartment that is full on black, it feels like its own little space. So if I'm working at the kitchen, here we have really beautiful black granite stone that feels really warm. I can even imagine that it's kind of being heated because it's surprisingly warm. You feel like you're in a different space rather than if you turn around and look over here, because these are two completely different designs. Everything in the kitchen is black, so you have again these like minimalist geometries and this just really minimalist design. Everything feels elevated and sophisticated. So you can really see that it's really important to make this design statements, be bold and be really thorough. So if you like want to create a black kitchen, don't just use one thing black and make everything else white and then say you have a black kitchen, but really like go all in your choices and really stick to them and dedicate to them, because that's what really creates a successful design. Here in the kitchen we have all the necessities that we need, like in a real proper apartment. And over here, further in the front, we have the living room. So behind me we have a sofa. Even though you don't have an incredible amount of space, I feel like the designers of the space really still managed to create these perfect symmetric little scenes and little compositions throughout this one room apartment. And again, here we have a sofa that is standing against a window. And in front of the sofa you have a carpet and a sofa table. And you can see that the only really colorful accents that are being used throughout the space are these different shades of green. And of course, they are pulled from the outside, because if we have a look at the outside, we can see that we just have a beautiful view into the mountains into all of the pine trees. Right now it's raining. It's been a few rainy days here, but you are just immersed in nature. All of the materials are either natural or look natural. Because this place is in the mountains, a lot of dog lovers come to visit. So the floor isn't actually made from real wood, but rather a vinyl wood has been used with like a really raw finish. So before I told you that the Black Forest is really renowned for keeping its traditions alive, such as, for example, that they're still producing their cuckoo clocks. And another thing that this region, the Black Forest, is really famous for is its thermal spas. Because in this region of Germany, we have a lot of natural hot springs. And one thing that you shouldn't miss in the cold times here is a sauna. So we have our own little private sauna here. So we actually have our own private little sauna over here, which is really cool. And all of the wood, also the outsides of the wood, are all made from spruce wood. You just have this complete perfect experience of just being in a sauna, even though the sauna isn't like standing somewhere in the woods, but it's integrated into a modern apartment. Another thing I really like about this apartment, and what I feel like the designers did really well, is that they used gigantic slabs of wood for the doors. So this is really just one giant piece. And I was told that all of the wood, the real wood that has been used here, is old wood that has been sourced. You can just see from the patina. So this is the bathroom, and this apartment is actually called Bear Cave, Bärenhöhle, if you would translate it to English. And here again we have the giant slabs of old wood as a door, which again is like a really big but simple statement piece. And as I said before, if you want to make a place feel more expensive, the trick is to just use a lot of light and to really invest in your light. So you shouldn't just use direct light, but you also need indirect light or ambient light to really create like a beautiful, luxurious and sophisticated situation. And also here we can see the ceramics, the wood, all of the materials are really intentional and they don't dominate each other. So all of them are really subtle. The designers try to imitate a cave in this apartment. And this is also the reason why they just use these giant slabs of stone and took the tiles and put them up all the way. So yeah, the intention was if you come inside here, you feel like a cave. And that's why they use these really giant slabs of dark stone, not with a lot of marbling, but with a lot of movement inside the stones and with a lot of texture. So thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you learned something new. Let me know if you've ever been in the Black Forest and if you like these more rural apartment types. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you next week.